Mute.
Good evening. I'm Karen Stepper, the mayor of the town of Danville. We welcome you on December 8th, 2020 to our annual 39th Community Awards Ceremony and Mayor's Installation. We appreciate you joining us tonight for our virtual reality world in Danville as a result of the pandemic. We are joined by our overachieving staff members tonight, including our town manager, Joe Calabrigo, our city attorney, Rob Ewing, and our city clerk, Marie Sinceri. Marie, will you please do a roll call to establish a quorum?
Yes. Councilmember Arnerich.
Present.
Councilmember Morgan.
Here.
Councilmember Storer.
Here.
Vice Mayor Blackwell.
Here.
And Mayor Stepper.
Here.
All council members are in attendance.
Thank you so much, Marie. To all who have joined us, we always begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, we are pleased to have Michelle Mattis bring her 3 members from the Charlotte Wood Girl Scout Troop 30302. They hold Zoom bake-offs, they share virtual movie nights, they market their homemade products on the website. Truly, our kids have learned to adapt to this new world. They are using their funds to go to Costa Rica to learn about the ecosystem firsthand. Please cross your heart as the Scouts lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much to the Girl Scout Troop 30302. They also brought in our flags when they were 3rd graders. Thank you also to Lanisa Keith for sharing her musical talents. She is a well-known singer and writer from the San Ramon Valley. She generously performs at many nonprofits, including the 100 Club of Contra Costa and the Sentinels of Freedom. Thank you, Lanisa, for your beautifully sung national anthem. We welcome you again to the Community Awards Ceremony and Council installation of new mayor. Lest we forget, our ceremony is back-to-back this year with the lighting of the beacon on Mount Diablo. I've been a long-term member and honorary member of the Pearl Harbor survivors, and we ask you to remember them this evening. Remember, lest we forget, 3 of them are over 100 years of age. We are proud tonight to continue the Community Awards. It's a tradition here in a year when so many events have been canceled due to the sad reality of the corona pandemic. We appreciate you taking time from your schedule to take a step back and say thank you to those who have volunteered so many hours to serve Danville this year. Such service is indeed a lesson that mentors our youth and that you can give in times of hardship, and they are many this year. Our businesses are the core of our character as a town, and they need us now. So we hope after this ceremony that you will go to the Danville website to pledge to support local, our restaurants and retailers. Look first to our businesses to give our town its strong sense of community. I am pleased now to introduce my good friend, Chaplain Hugh Keith. Hugh Keith is the Chief Chaplain of the U.S. Conference of Chaplains across America. Their mission is to establish local ministry teams to offer service in times of need, such as on campuses, in prisons, retirement homes, active military, and all those places the pandemic has hit so hard. Welcome to Hugh Keith, and thank you.
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you as a community to thank you for both the privilege we enjoy in having our voices heard through our vote, as well as the opportunity to share our love and care for others through volunteerism and community service. This event highlights two special groups in our community. Here, we recognize and celebrate the service of the members of our town council, the outgoing and incoming mayor, vice mayor, and council members, who have been duly elected and serve the town with pride and excellence in their positions. Likewise, we are excited to spotlight and honor the service of our Community Service Award recipients. We see mirrored in these two groups many of the same selfless servant leadership skills and serial volunteer traits displayed in this community and others throughout the San Ramon Valley. These individuals' remarkable willingness to serve others is indeed one of the key ingredients that makes this community and our valley so uniquely special and desirable. So it is with great thanksgiving and joy that we join together and lift up these remarkable servants to you. We ask for your continued blessing and guidance for our town council as they take up and continue their responsibilities anew, both now and in the new term. Likewise, Lord, we thank you for the incredible work of our Community Service Award recipients. May their examples entice others into allowing for and adopting lifestyles that welcome and promote selfless servant leadership, beginning right in our own backyard. We ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
We are very pleased this evening to recognize our outgoing commissioners. We have commissioners who have served Danville for somewhere between 4 and 24 years tonight, and we are grateful for all the time they have spent on those commissions. It is absolutely very, very important that they get data from the community to bring to us, and they help us form our policies. So with that said, we will have the council members introduce the outgoing commissioners and give them awards this evening in recognition of their service.
I have the honor of presenting the Outgoing Commissioner Award to Randy Haberl. Randy moved to Scottsdale, Arizona this year and sadly is no longer a commissioner with the town of Danville. Randy has served on the town's Heritage Resource Commission, the Planning Commission, and on the town's Historic Design Review Committee. Randy served on the Heritage Resource Commission for over 21 years when he joined on December 1, 1999. That makes him the longest-serving HRC commissioner in the town's history. In that role, he was involved in the review and approval of the town's Historic Preservation Ordinance and the town's award-winning design guidelines for heritage resources. He served on the Planning Commission since 2013. On his first meeting, he was thrown into the fire at a contentious public hearing on the adoption of the town's 2030 general plan. From what I've heard of those long meetings, that would have been a tough meeting to be your first meeting. We will miss his even tone and calm demeanor on our commissions. Thank you, Randy, for all 4 years of your service. You are greatly missed, but we are hoping you're enjoying the warm weather in Scottsdale. Chris Trujillo we're saying goodbye to tonight on the Heritage Resource Commission and Historic Design Review Committee. The good news is that Chris is remaining on the Planning Commission and Design Review Board. Looks like he'll still be a multitasker for the town of Danville. Chris served on the Heritage Resource Commission and Historic Design Review Committee since 2016. During his time on the Heritage Resource Commission, he brought his experience as an architect, in helping to review the redevelopment of historic properties. 375 Harts Avenue, the old Rick's Picks building, 342 Railroad Avenue, the Fazio Fisher House, and 120 West Linda Mesa, the Austin Root House, are some of the examples of projects he worked on. He's also added 6 new properties to the town's designated heritage resource list. We're lucky to have Chris's insightful expertise on all of the many commissions and boards he has served on. It's people like Chris who are willing to volunteer so much of their time that makes Danville such a special place.
I am here to present Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commissioners Outgoing. Today I'd like to talk about Kent Razawali, a soft-spoken man who brought his perspective as a school administrator to the commission. He has been very dialed into the needs of the community and our senior issues, bringing these much-needed perspectives to the decision-making of the commission. I would also like to speak of Stuart Proctor. Besides his contagious smile, a tradition that Stuart has is to visit the venues and the locations around town long after the commission has made decisions to see how the fit is in the fabric of our community. One of the things that he also prides himself on is the Oak Hills Park All Wars Memorial, sharing the memory of his 3-war Navy veteran father-in-law. Their collective footprints are all over Danville in a personal way, and which are now there for all of us to enjoy. Thank you, Kent and Stuart, for your dedication in parks, making life better.
Good evening. It's always sad to say goodbye to any commissioner that has represented the town of Danville and given so much of their time, passion, and energy to help Danville become such a special place to live and raise our families. Dave Fong's commitment to Danville has been extraordinary. But this goodbye has a happy ending. Senior Commissioner Dave Fong is now Council Member Dave Fong and future Mayor Dave Fong. The citizens of Danville got this right, and thank you. Dave has been dedicated to helping our seniors enjoy a better life, and now he has all of his attentions to the town of Danville residents. A doctor of pharmacy, Dave has been a part of this community his entire 40-plus year career. Married to his wife, Louise, they have raised their kids in Danville and have lived here 43 years and will continue to make Danville a very intricate part of their lives in a much larger arena. Council member Dave Fong will continue to devote his energies, passions, and focus on representing our entire community. Dave has always been a thoughtful and critical thinker on our senior commission and will bring years of experience, wisdom, and knowledge to the town council, not only with his financial background, but with his leadership skills and his management style. Dave Fong is approachable, engaged, intelligent, and has always conducted himself in a professional manner and will always be a great ambassador for Danville. I'm very proud to welcome Councilmember Dave Fong to the dais and Louise Fong as Danville's future First Lady. Dave and Louise, thank you to both of you for your commitment to this community, and congratulations on the job well done. Dave Fong, nicely done, buddy. Thank you.
We are also proud to recognize and great gratitude for those people who have served on our commissions for many, many years. We give awards for 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, etc. You can follow it. We are thankful that those people are here this evening and that we're able to give them a plaque in recognition of their continuing service for our community.
The next group of people we are celebrating have 4 years of service as commissioners with the town of Danville. They will be receiving a handsome desk clock. Afshan Hamid is on our design review board. She brings a very practical and experienced viewpoint on architectural design and site planning to the town's design review board. She's a professional planner by trade and currently planning director for the town of Moraga. We are very lucky to have her with us as well. Afshan has played an important role in the review of prominent developments. They include the Clock Tower Redevelopment Project, 198 and 194 Diablo Road, which is the future home of I Can Do That Performing Arts, 444 Front Street, the new Taco Bell Cantina, and residents for the Collection and Abigail Place subdivision. Her critical eye to detail has been very helpful with all of these projects. Mike Amon is on the Heritage Resource Commission. He joined the commission in 2016. He's been involved with the review of historic restorations such as 375 Harts Avenue, 432 Railroad Avenue, and 120 West Linda Mesa. It's called the Austin Root House for those of us who've been around for a while. He has served on the commission's inventory subcommittee and has worked with various property owners discussing the possibility of designating their historic properties as town heritage resources. That is no small or easy task. In his tenure, Mike has helped to add 6 new properties to the town's designated heritage resource list. We are also celebrating Catherine Benvenuto's 4 years on the Heritage Resource Commission. She's been involved with the review and approval of a number of restorations and redevelopment of historic properties. She's also reviewed and made recommendations to the town council regarding historic incentive packages and historic designations. She served on the commission's public outreach committee and was responsible for conducting research and drafting the narrative of several of the historical plaques seen throughout our town's historic district. Anyone who knows Kathy knows she has a passion and love of history that is contagious. Heritage Resource Commission is the perfect fit, and we are lucky she joined us for 4 years and hope she continues on in the future. Kim Holmes is also celebrating 4 years with the Heritage Resource Commission. She has been instrumental in the establishment of the public outreach and inventory subcommittees. Kim's best known for taking the lead on completing historic research and drafting narratives for the number of plaques that have been installed as part of the town's historic plaque program. She has actually personally installed all of the plaques in town and invented a new term for our town. It's a verb we call plaquing. The plaques are extremely popular with all ages of our population, and before COVID, the plaquing events were well attended with members of the families from historic homes, as well as the antique cars that would show up to put us all in a historic mood. Kim takes the town history very seriously, as she was raised here and comes from a multi-generational family that has called Danville home all of their lives. And our last recipient is David Haflick from the Planning Commission. David joined the Planning Commission in 2017. As a scientist, David has brought his unique perspective to the town's review of planning projects, often resulting in a much improved project. David's never afraid to ask the hard question or to have the commission look at a project in a different way. David has been involved in the commission's review of the Clock Tower redevelopment, 198 and 194 Diablo Road, the 375 West El Pintado condominium project, and the McGee Ranch project. We would like to extend our appreciation to all 5 of these commissioners for volunteering their time in the last 4 years to the town. We wouldn't be here without their time and dedication.
I'm very pleased to recognize the 8-year service awards this evening. The first one is Archie Bowles. I have known him for so many years as soccer coaches, but he has worked tirelessly on the projects for our Planning Commission, and in particular on the McGee Ranch project. Archie, in fact, is a 37-year firefighter. He brings very special skills to the Planning Commission. He's very proud of the McGee Ranch because it gave us so much hiking, so many trails, and so many things for the community at large. He was also very pleased to be part of the 2 historic homes that we dedicated this year, the Austin Root Home and the James Root, both which have been integrated into our community downtown. He's proud to have been able to serve while he's doing all of his other jobs and coaching soccer, being part of our schools, particularly at Monterre. And especially he's been very grateful that he can share all the fire code information that's been needed lately with all the wildfires that we have seen in California. It's invaluable service, Archie. We're glad that you're continuing on our commission. Thank you so much for serving for 8 years. The second awardee is Andrew Verrier. He has also served for 8 years. He is a father of 2 young children, and you can imagine with Zoom that means there's a lot of time at home. There's no schools going on, and it has been a lot of things to balance with a very young family, but Andy has been an invaluable part of our Planning Commission. He's an attorney,
and has been a judge, and we appreciate all the things he brings to the table to help us mediate some of the smaller things that go on in the Planning Commission as he defined them. Well, it might have been neighbor disputes over setbacks, over yards, over fences, and he's had a lot of skill in doing so. His biggest project, just like the one that we talked about with Archie, has been the McGee Ranch project. It is going to start very soon, and everyone is going to be so proud of that project because there's so much that's dedicated to the community at large for Danville. Thank you very much, Andy. We're sorry that you are going on from the commission, but we understand all the things that you juggle. Thank you for giving 8 years to the commission, for the Planning Commission, for the town of Danville and all of its citizens.
A planning commission requires the understanding of architecture, blueprints, zoning, and so much more. Paul Radich hit the ground running. With his background in commercial real estate, he attends meeting ready and anxious to ask questions and make the best decisions for Danville. I remember the first day meeting him. He was participating and actively participating on that day as well. It seems like yesterday. It's hard to believe it's been 12 years. Thank you, Paul, for your 12 years of service. We appreciate you and your dedication to Danville, and we look forward to many more. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here this evening to recognize two of my favorite people, Renee Morgan and Lee Halverson, for 16 years of service to the town of Danville. Two-time Mayor Renee Morgan has been such an important part of this community for 16 years, and the town has been very fortunate to have her as an 8-year planning commissioner and 8 years on the Danville Town Council. Renee was just re-elected, so she's working her way towards 20 years of helping this town continue to be successful, fiscally responsible, and always protecting our heritage resource, our open space, and making Danville a very special place to raise our families. She's dedicated and very proud of her 30 years in the community, involved with the 100 Club, the San Ramon Regional Hospital, Danville Children's Guild, Contra Costa Transportation Authority Director, San Ramon Valley Emergency Preparedness, the Museum of the San Ramon Valley, Relay for Life, and to end Alzheimer's, mother, grandmother, wife, council member, mayor, and my friend Renee Morgan. Renee's love affair with the town of Danville has always been a very special relationship and very good for the town of Danville. It's always been a pleasant to work with you. I admire your work ethics, your dedication to this community, your love of life, and your heart and compassion towards people. You have been a role model for me and so many of us in the community, and I couldn't imagine the town of Danville without you. Thank you for your commitment to this community, and thank you for being our friend. Lee Halverson's family has been here since 1858, completed 2 tours of duty in Vietnam, completing an illustrious 24-year career, and retired as Captain Lee Halverson. A member of the Vietnam veterans of the Diablo Valley and the veterans of foreign wars for over 30 years, married to Masako for 53 years. This accomplished man has also given his talents to the Heritage Resource Commission for 16 years. Commissioner Halverson is a very knowledgeable and strong voice on the Heritage Resource Commission because Lee grew up here in Danville on the Foz property that backs up to the creek. Lee has said so many times that the creek behind his house was actually called the Halverson Creek. I've heard it enough times that I'm beginning to believe it. Lee has over 60 years of experience living here in Danville and is such an important, intricate part of this community. His name is synonymous with integrity, loyalty, and honesty. Always the voice of reason. Thank you, Lee Halverson, for all that you do in this community and serving so brilliantly on our Heritage Resource Commission. Danville is fortunate to have such a talented man on our commission. Thank you, buddy.
Our next award for 20 years of service goes to Danville Councilmember and twice Mayor Robert Storr. Robert began his work on the town's Planning Commission January 1st, 2001, and served coterminously on the Design Review Board. Robert was elected to the Danville Council in 2009 and has served twice as mayor. He is a longtime resident of Danville, here with his wife Sandra and his two sons Michael and Andrew, both who attended Danville schools, and each respectively have become a civil engineer and an architect. Great products of Danville from two great parents. All the while, Robert has been serving in public service in many other areas that most people don't know. He served as a captain in the Alameda County Sheriff's Department dive team for 21 years on the recovery dive team, having served as its captain for 10 years, a training safety officer for 12 years, a dive mentor, a master recovery dive master, and an assistant chief for 8 years, just to name a few of his many public service commitments. Robert's thoughtful approach to problem solving has made Danville a better place, and his expertise in design, planning, and his business acumen has been a wonderful asset to all. These are just a few of the accomplishments and contributions to our community from Robert. He's the 3-term planning commissioner, served on the design review board for 3 years, heritage resource for 3 years, Danville council member, as I mentioned, for the past 10 years, almost 10 years, county connection board member for the past 11 years, vice mayor of Danville, 2 years, Danville mayor twice, member of the Danville Finance Committee for nearly 11 years as well. He's a board member of the All Wars Memorial since 2009, school district liaison, member of the Chamber of Commerce for 21 years, a graduate of Leadership San Ramon Valley, as nearly everybody on our council has been in the past, a lifetime member of the 100 Club of Contra Costa County, a cavalry member in the Sheriff's Office, a lifetime member of the Honorary Sheriff's Association of Alameda County, a 2006 Chamber of Commerce Business Person of the Year. Robert's background is many areas of, Robert's background covers many areas of Danville in both business, civic, and philanthropic leadership with both nonprofits and for-profit organizations. Robert's a friend to many, and his approach is passionate with kindness to bring a rich understanding of the issues of any problem that comes before him. He's active in the community every day, checking in with local businesses and people he meets on the street. Robert brings a point of view that makes our council stronger and more effective. John F. Kennedy called an action. John F. Kennedy called us all to action. And that action was not ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Robert is one of those people who has stood up to be part of his community and say, what can I do to help? He's dedicated his life for 21 years in doing that here in the town of Danville. If you know Robert well, he always says, when something is finished or you've done a good job, he says, nicely done. Robert, on behalf of your community and your fellow council members, nicely done, my friend. Thank you.
I have the distinct privilege of honoring Kevin Donovan's 24 years of service with the Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission. When I was on the Parks Commission, I looked at Kevin as a mentor and appreciated his balanced approach to decision-making and his positive outlook. I think his fellow commissioner, Jane Joyce, said it best. Kevin is our quintessential diplomat, always focusing first on the positive, but articulate in his advocacy for change and improvements. So when you achieve 24 years of service, you get a proclamation in your name. So I get to read it without further ado. Here's the proclamation recognizing and honoring Kevin Donovan for 24 years of dedicated and distinguished service to the town of Danville. Whereas Kevin Donovan is a native Californian and a 35-year resident of Danville. And whereas Kevin is a proud Bear, having graduated from the University of California, Berkeley, where he has continued to serve the university through the UC Berkeley Alumni Scholarship Program as an application reviewer and scholarship candidate interviewer. And whereas Kevin is currently retired and has enjoyed a distinguished professional career spanning 40 years in finance and banking. And whereas Kevin's extensive community involvement includes representing the town of Danville as a member of the Joint Planning and Operations Committee for Hat-McGee Ranch Park, as a participant with the California Park and Recreation Society, serving as a board member for Mustang Soccer, varsity football representative to the Monte Vista High School Athletic Boosters, being a member of St. Isidore's Catholic Church, and as a youth sports coach for baseball, soccer, and basketball. And whereas Kevin was appointed by the Town Council to the Danville Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission on October 15, 1996, and to the Danville Arts Advisory Board on February 18, 2020, and has been actively attending recreation and art programs and events since being appointed. And whereas Kevin has served with over 30 fellow commissioners and board members during his 24 years, and been involved in shaping parks and recreation in Danville through its development of both the Park, Recreation, and Arts Strategic Plan in 2006 and the plan update in 2017, as well as being the longest continuously serving appointed commissioner in the Parks, Recreation, and Arts Commission. And whereas in his capacity as a town commissioner and board member, Kevin is known as a thoughtful, practical, and engaged advocate for parks, recreation, and arts, while upholding Danville's high standards for park facilities and recreation programs. Now therefore be it resolved that the Danville Town Council hereby recognizes and honors Kevin Donovan for 24 years of dedicated and distinguished service to the town of Danville.
We are pleased to bring a break in our service here tonight for Elaine Betts. She has been our poet laureate for the last 3 years, and she has an amazing repertoire of poems about community, business, and all the things that we do in our schools. Elaine has this breadth of topics, and she has written a book about it. She does a lot of business consulting, believe it or not, with her poetry, and has a bestseller on Amazon called The World's Worst Networks. You can tell Elaine has a sense of humor, and we have been through an unusual year, so I'm very much looking forward to the poem that she has written only for us this evening. As part of her business coaching firm, Go Far Consulting, Elaine is someone who brings people together with her poetry. Welcome, Elaine. As soon as she is done with the poem, we will go next to the outgoing council member recognition for outgoing council member Lisa Blackwell.
This poem is called The Resilience of Danville. Who would have thought how this year would be, the heartache, the pain, and anxiety, when the world is in turmoil and dealing with struggles, neighborhoods rise and form support huddles. Neighbors help neighbors in each simple way, a virtual hug and friends' virtual play. Rising above as best as we can, the resilience of Danville is part of the plan. Pivoting bravely, community support, restaurants and retail are much in our thought. Wearing a mask, the law we must meet, especially in downtown while we walk down the street. Thankful for small things and grateful for many, while others lose so much and don't have a penny. The worries are real, make no mistake. Financial burden can make our hearts break. Keeping our distance and socially smart, we're giving our hugs from 6 feet apart. Danville is working to make the best of this deal, maintaining our safety while keeping appeal. This year of pandemic and social unrest, Danville's commitment to doing its best. Keep up standards and lending a hand, pulling together to make a strong stand. Traditions still forefront of culture and arts, and coming together with hearts around hearts. Hearts with compassion and hearts filled with pride. We'll get through this as we stand side by side. Standing together, yet 6 feet away. We can come through this, and we welcome that day. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Elaine. Your creativity and commitment to Danville is something that we'll all cherish and probably frame and put on our wall. It's an outstanding poem for a pandemic year. Thank you. We are moving next to the outgoing council member recognition, something that is a little sad to recognize right now. We have enjoyed 4 years with Lisa Blackwell, and we wanted to give her a few of our memories with her. She's made a huge difference to our council. You know, they always say one council member makes a difference in how you approach things, and she has brought with her so much experience from the schools and has made a big part of the committees that on which she has served. She had been, I don't even know how many years with PTA, but we could tell when she brought something that she had a lot of people behind her and a lot of experience as she went into the Street Smarts program that teaches our children to be safe going to and from school, whether it's walking, biking, or driving, believe it or not. She's also a big part of the Traffics program, which is going to resume very soon, our bus program, when school restarts. And that's a program that reduces the traffic around the schools and again makes them safe. Lisa was a big part of everything else that we have done in parks because she was on parks originally. And so she understands now what those little kids can do when they're very young. She has a lot of grandchildren that have enjoyed using our parks, as I think we mostly do. They're just fun to go to the park and see them full of kids. Thanks to her location, a couple blocks from the center of town, Lisa has had something very special to offer because she is every week, well, she's always downtown. And every week when she's downtown, she takes her notes back to the staff to tell them what we're doing right and what we can do better, which is the same thing you can do, by the way, on Danville Connect. But with Lisa coming from her background and having so much experience, it just had a special feel to it, and she knew what to do to offer. She has come to us as a council member right when we were entering the MCE, which is the Marin Clean Energy. I think she had a very special interest in that, and she's been advocating really strongly for us to be a very green community, along with, I think, her cohort, Robert Storr. But it's Lisa's background again that came through with the, making a difference as she advocated. We're losing some very calm presentations and a lot of good new ideas that she brought. And we wanted to recognize that she'd been always a strong supporter of the arts and parks, which is now a joint commission. And she kept bidding on our projects. So if you remember the dogs last year all over Danville, I mean, everybody walked around and saw all the 19 dogs. She has a dog at home, one of the ceramic dogs, which of course was her nature to share with us on our front porch. But she was bidding again this year. I would like to say we all were, but I think that the generosity of this community caused us all to be outbid too soon, including Lisa. So she's going to come back and see what we do next year. I think that strength of hers to bring to the arts and to see what it does so close to home has made a big difference for us. And the hearts that we saw around town will make us think of the heart that Lisa brings to being a council member. And now I would like her fellow council members to say a word to her as well about their memories of serving with Lisa. And we'll start with Council Member Newell Arnrich, and then Council Member Renee Morgan, and Council Member Robert Storr.
Thanks, Mayor Stepper. I remember Lisa came to us from the Parks Commission, and what she said was, parks makes lives better. Well, what we learned was Lisa makes lives better in Danville as a council member. It's always difficult to say goodbye to a great friend and a dedicated community leader. Lisa, you'll be greatly missed, and I wish you much happiness in your semi-retirement. Thank you for your work, as Mayor Stepper said, on MCE, helping guide Danville to 50% renewable electrical energy throughout the entire community, and as well as the town, which we stepped up to 100%. That's a legacy that will last forever. That's the right thing to do. You helped guide us do that, and we really appreciate that. But during your time here, you were nothing but helpful, creative, and a real thought leader. You're a true friend, and having you as a colleague on the council was a wonderful experience. I can't thank you enough for your leadership. I look forward to seeing you walking, since you and I live on the west side of Danville, really close. I can't wait to see you again. And I know you're going to find another way to help put your finger in the dike to help make Danville a little better. Lisa, thank you.
Lisa, I know that being on the town council is a major time commitment, and many people do not realize until they actually become a council member how much is actually involved. We've heard just a few things from the other fellow, from our mayor and other council member, the type of information and type of work that you have done for us during your time on the council. I want to thank you for your contribution to Danville and all you've done for our schools in the past, our Parks Commission, as well as the Town Council. I want to wish you the best of luck in whatever your future endeavors are. I will have to say I'm a little jealous that your grandchildren live so close, where mine are in Texas. But I know that you'll be spending more time with them, and this isn't the last we've seen of you. We'll be seeing a lot more of you. So thank you.
Lisa, I actually hate goodbyes, and I want you to know that, I mean, we've known each other for such a long time. When our kids were very, very young, I've always admired your passion, your energy, and especially your compassion for this community and your commitment to the schools, the PTA, our kids' education. Thank you for making Danville such a special place to raise our kids and our families. Your voice has always been one of reason and logic, and you have always handled yourself with dignity and grace. You're so intelligent, thoughtful, and we all honestly tried so hard to keep you here. And I said it about Renee, and it's certainly true with you. I almost cannot imagine this council without you. But I guess it's time to return you to Brad. Your kids, your grandkids, it's time to be Brad's vacation buddy again, I guess. But please know that you will always be a very special part of Danville. And I hope the next chapter in your life is filled with everything you want it to be. But Lisa, tonight when you go to sleep, and before you go to sleep, I just want you to know that you really made a difference in our community. Please know how important your contributions have been to the town of Danville. And I've always appreciated everything about you, and I will honestly miss you. Nicely done, Vice Mayor Blackwell. And I hope the next part of your life is filled with happiness and enjoyment. And please always know that you will always, always, always be a special part of our community.
Thank you very much. Okay, this is going to be harder than I thought. You made me all emotional. Thank you so much. It's been such an honor to represent Danville for the past 4 years in the town council. My husband Brad and I have called Danville home for over almost 35 years. We raised our 3 daughters in Danville, and yes, we do have 3 grandchildren now that live in Danville. We live downtown, and we do walk the streets almost every day with our dogs, and we get to see shop owners and neighbors we've known for decades, and we love doing that. Danville has heart and is a caring community. It's a place where we take care of one another. So I just want to talk about the accomplishments that all 5 of us have made in the last 4 years. It's kind of a weird accomplishments list because we had 3 years without a pandemic and 1 year with a pandemic. Prior to the pandemic, we were going strong with our Parks Department. Our town council approved the Town Green Master Plan. And I was very proud of that. And I can't wait for the day when that space will truly become Danville's living room with attractive, accessible spaces for all ages and interests. We also approved the feasibility study for a skate park at Diablo Vista Park. And I'm looking forward to that day when skate enthusiasts of all ages can get outside and exercise together. I'm proud of our efforts on housing. We approved projects that made sense by putting denser housing near transportation corridors, and we worked tirelessly to keep our open space commitment with projects like McGee Ranch. We also tried to get a mix of affordable housing in there so that maybe future generations can afford to live in Danville just as we all have. I'm proud of our relationship with the police department and Chief Shields. This relationship has made Danville the safest community in California for 3 years in a row. I'm proud of our conservative fiscal management. We've had constant communication from Joe Calabrigo and Lonnie Ha regarding our financial situation this year. We even had 4 budgets to work from this year as we tried to forecast what might happen to our local economy during that pandemic. But what I'm most proud of all is how we have worked together with our small businesses and town staff and community during this pandemic. This has been an unbelievably tough year with shutdowns and reopenings, and then now a shutdown again. Let's be clear, we're not going to get our economy back on track until we get this virus under control. Our council put our community's health first in our hearts and minds while listening to our small business owners and working closely with our chamber. We are all tired and saddened by this pandemic, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel with the new vaccines on the horizon. We encourage everyone to pledge to support locally, buy gift cards, and order takeout during this shutdown. But most importantly, we all need to follow the health guidelines so our community can get our businesses reopened, our children safely back in school, and we can resume our town traditions that we so fondly treasure. I was very proud to spend the last 4 years with my fellow council members. You will not find a harder working group in the Bay Area. Not only do Newell, Robert, Karen, and Renee attend town council meetings and study sessions and liaison meetings, but they represent and take on leadership positions representing Danville on every committee, from transportation to housing to busing to education. We didn't always agree with one another, but we respected each other's opinions, and we always worked hard to find common ground that would be the best solution for Danville. I am confident that Dave Fong will have that same goal as he joins the council. And lastly, I am most proud to work with the town staff. There's one word that describes this team, and it is integrity. With Joe Calabrigo at the helm, the team that works with us is nothing less than incredible. This year, they have had to work harder with less. We never heard a complaint, nor noticed a significant drop in service level or attention to detail. I'd like to thank Diane, Marie, Rob, see, I'm gonna get emotional here, Jill, Jeff, Alan, Lonnie, Ty, David, Henry, and Andy for all of your support. I feel so lucky to know this team, and I will really miss each of you tremendously. As for Joe, there's truly not a town manager around with more integrity. I admire your steadfast, balanced approach to managing our town and your ability to zero in on priorities with regards to our community. So thank you for letting me serve the town I love. I'm not going away. You'll see me downtown, and thank you for all your kind words.
Oh, very well said, Lisa. And you can tell that we're very heartfelt and how we're going to miss you. And did want to thank you especially for serving as vice mayor while I was mayor. Each of these council members, as you hit it on the head, are serving on many, many other committees. And once in a while, you have to miss a meeting. And you were always so gracious in stepping in when that was required. So, and well done, because you never seemed to get it wrong or right. You just always just moved in and just fit right in. So we all feel that way about you. So thank you again for raising the bar on your service to Danville, from being a commissioner all the way up to being 4 years as a council member. Well done. Thank you. We're going to move next to the awards of merit.
Our next section are our awards of merit. You know, that's really the impetus for this evening's community awards ceremony. It's all the things that people do in our community make a difference to the entire community. And they may be even special because they are to do with the pandemic that we've all been living with the sheltering in place. One way to recognize their generosity and creativity is to give these awards this evening, and we are very proud of these people, and we hope that, we're sorry we couldn't recognize more people, but we hope you'll go and make a point of meeting them and joining them in their next projects. We have a very unique award to give to Liz Garone. She's the manager of our Pacific Coast Farmers Market, and she has been with us for several years now, and she's absolutely everybody's favorite when you go to the farmers market. She's there every Saturday, 52 weeks a year. She came up with this idea. She and someone else at Pacific Coast have put together something called A Taste of Danville. Here we are going into an unknown pandemic with restaurants having all these problems, and she puts together a book where she finds all the best chefs in Danville, not all of them, but many, 10, and interviews them about their favorite recipes, where they came from, what country, how did they get into being a chef. That's on one side of this page. On the other side is a favorite recipe that they make for you in the Danville restaurants, but now you can make it at home. And all of the ingredients come from our local farmers, and they're all listed in this book. The middle of that book is a page of this scrumptious things. Like my daughter made the upside down cake, and maybe you'll make something else, but it's a pretty fantastic idea, and it was to promote our businesses. It's quite a book. So in recognition of all the work that Liz did to put this book together, I would like to talk about what it does, because after she revealed all the special menu selections, they had a contest for all the people in the community that wanted to make something. And I haven't heard who the winners are yet, so please stop by and tell me at the farmer's market. She and her cohorts worked so hard to make the best seasonal dishes that they could throughout the entire season. I wish she could be here this evening, but she's coming back as soon as the winter is over. She brings in the best vendors you can ever imagine. She calls this book a love letter pinned to everyone who supports the farmers market in Danville 52 weeks a year. You can tell from the poetry of her statement the creativity that went to this beautiful book called, again, A Taste of Danville. It's free to you, and we hope that you will enjoy it for many, many years, way past the pandemic. It is a book that just keeps on giving as you share these recipes with your friends and share these people in your kitchen how to make it even better. You are a gift to all of us, Liz. Thank you.
Growing up, we have parents, coaches, teachers, mentors telling us, you can do this. The motivation in those few words have led to the inspiration of many. Meet Shana Ronan and Jerusa Ariel, the founders of the nonprofit I Can Do That. I Can Do That was founded with the goal of creating amazing theater with our local youth community. Over their first 4 years, Shana and Jerusa saw that their students were not only seeking training in theater, they were more importantly needing a place to belong, to be accepted, and to create meaningful relationships. As their mission grew, their vision grew to meet the new purpose. They realized that the greater goal was to use the power of community, the wellness, and the performing arts to fuel our youth. The individuals who will become the problem solvers, the citizens and leaders in what we need in our future of our world. Head down Diablo Road toward Hearts. You'll see some exciting construction, a new 6,000 square foot building. Why is this exciting? This will be the youth center, complete with 3 studio rooms and a cafe lounge for your local youth community to call their own. In this center, I Can Do That will be offering expanded performing arts, training, community programs such as karaoke nights, family dance parties, and community outreach, as well as wellness health for the local youth, giving them access to local teachers and leaders with classes in meditation, yoga, journaling, stress management, and more. Watch for their I Can Do That Youth Center grand opening on January 2021. Shana and Jerusa were recently named Diablo Magazine's 2020 Agents of Change and have been featured in a multitude of television stations, podcasts, as well as local magazines and newspapers. In the words of Fred Astaire, do it big, do it right, and do it with style. Shana and Jerusa, you have definitely done that. You can now add to your repertoire of accomplishments the Danville Award of Merit. Thank you.
I'm so pleased to be here this evening to present an Award of Merit. And this Award of Merit goes to a very special young lady whose family has been rooted here in the San Ramon Valley for 5 generations, and someone who just can't help herself. She has to help people, and she has to be engaged in the community that she loves. Every now and then we see individuals in our community who exemplify public service, dedication to duty, and take civic pride beyond just a conversation. There are people in this world who talk about doing things, and there are people in this world who just simply get things done. These are individuals who actually roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty. Our Award of Merit in 2020 goes deservingly to our very own Heritage Resource Commissioner, Kim Holmes. Kim has a great admiration for her community, young people, seniors, veterans, first responders, animals, and the love of Danville history. She's at her best when she's helping people who are experiencing their worst moments in life, and she has the heart the size of Mount Diablo, and the energy to help people and animals when they are experiencing trauma and horrific losses. Kim helps people get through their worst nightmares. Paradise Fire, Napa Fire, North Complex Fire. Whether it's helping burned animals recover, human support, handing out food, or just listening to someone explain how they just lost everything, she befriended the fire chief in Berry Creek, California, a very rural community 1 hour above Oroville, and the chief lost his home and all his personal possessions, but was still fighting the fire. Kim found out that he had a love for cigars, but naturally lost all of them during the fire, and because of the fire's devastation, couldn't replace them because the area was mostly gone. Kim found a way to replace his cigars, and he was overcome with emotions when she brought them back to him the following weekend. This is what Kim Holmes does. This is when she's at her best. Kim has delivered thousands of pounds of food, much needed supplies, has given 600 hours helping victims, hundreds of hours gathering supplies, committing 40 weekends during these horrific fires, donating her time to others. She's known affectionately as that Danville lady. She is a one-person show, and believe me, behind that sweet demeanor, there is a woman that will personally kick your butt if you get in her way. She's also known as a town plaquer, and along with our amazing Heritage Resource Commission, have placed bronze plaques on our town historical treasures that includes a really cool story about the original family who lived there. Kim has always said to me, I don't wear a badge or a name tag. I don't want recognition or praise. I just want to protect our community, our citizens, and help people and animals when they are going through difficult times. I teach children to get involved and make a difference, and I teach adults to get involved and make a difference. Today, Kim Holmes, we are recognizing you and all of your good work. You seem to always put your needs second to this community, and today we are very, very proud to recognize you. Congratulations, Kim, for making Danville a better place to live and helping so many people get through difficult moments in their lives. Thank you for being that Danville lady.
Our next Award of Merit is presented to Dr. Cindy Shui, PhD, a retired professor from the University of the Pacific and a longtime Danville resident, and currently the president of Launching Pad and the chairman of Silicon Valley Global, a high-tech entrepreneur. Dr. Shui simply said it was her civic duty to reach out and help. She says you don't need a reason to help other people. Day after day, ordinary people become heroes through extraordinary efforts and selfless actions. Simply put, she is one of those people who selflessly helps others. Author Ruth Marcus writes, every crisis has its heroes. Every disaster has its displays of selflessness and sacrifice. Firefighters race into buildings while they're burning. Police officers place themselves in the line of fire. Police officers, nurses, doctors, firefighters, all the first responders stand up every day to risk their lives. Doctors and nurses place themselves at risks. Individual citizens stepping up to help those in need. Dr. Shui and her friends provided thousands of face masks and much needed infrared thermometers to our police department early on in this pandemic. And she also provided over 10,000 masks to the town to help where needed. no conditions, no ask, just providing. Her team provided masks to other Tri-Valley Police Departments as well, all 5 as a matter of fact. We commend these selfless actions as well as past and ongoing efforts by Dr. Sui and her partners, in particularly Louis Lamb, also a Danville resident, who has helped immensely. Dr. Sui, we'd like to thank you on behalf of your entire town, all of its citizens, and the employees of the town of Danville and our police department and first responders for your dedication to simply saying, you help because you want to. Thank you, Dr. Sui, and congratulations.
Paul and Susan Cowell and Harry and Barbara Hubinger are part of our Volunteers in Police Services group, or VIPs as we call them. Although this year has been a little different due to COVID, in 2019, our VIPs provided over 7,200 hours of volunteer service, included 1,500 vacation house checks, and 364 patrols. Their efforts help us so much in contributing to the overall safety of our town, making us the safest community in California once again. Our first VIP couple is Susan and Paul Cowell. They have been married for 25 years and moved to Danville in 2001 from Oakland. They're heavily involved in the Catholic Church at St. Isidore's and both assist the priest with funerals. Paul is a former Marine and served as an infantryman in the early 60s. Both joined the Danville Police Department's Volunteers in Police Services program in 2003 after their attendance in the Citizens Academy because of their love of police work and their enjoyment of being part of a team. They started to volunteer under Chief Greg Gilbert and have continued to work for 4 of the 6 police chiefs that the town has had since incorporation. Together, they have donated over 12,900 hours of time while volunteering with the police department. They provide patrols aimed at preventing crime in town, live scan fingerprint services for residents, and foot patrol and traffic control at special events. Paul also serves as a chaplain with the Sheriff's All-Volunteer Extended Service Volunteer Program and responds out to families in crisis. They have been recognized in the past for their outstanding service both to the town of Danville and to the Sheriff's Office. We truly appreciate the amazing job they have both done for our town. We are much safer in Danville because of these 2. Barb and Harry have been married for 63 years. They've lived in Danville at the same home for 51 years. Barbara was an accountant before retirement. Harry was a Navy pilot and flew both the F-4 Corsair and the AD-1 Skyrider off the decks of Navy carriers. In retirement, they decided to travel and ended up visiting 127 countries. They wish they could have gone to a few more. In the late 70s, they both started a Christian medical clinic in Kathmandu, Nepal. Barbara has volunteered all over town. She served with the Museum of the San Ramon Valley, and she's been on the Silver Centennial Book Committee. I've had the joy of working with Barbara on the Street Smarts program for the last 4 years. In retirement, they both sought out something they could do together to serve the community. They attended the Citizens Academy in 2000, and then the Volunteers in Police Services program in 2001. They started volunteering under Chief Greg Gilbert and have continued to work for 4 of the 6 police chiefs that have worked in the town since incorporation. Together, the 2 of them have donated over 13,900 hours of volunteer time with the police department. They have helped with so many programs, such as assisting with writing of volunteer manuals and training programs, assisting with traffic control at special events, and helping with the citizens' academies. They manage the If I Were a Thief program for the police department. It's a program aimed at preventing crime by identifying common conditions that lead to crime. Part of the program is to educate our community when their garage doors are left open, packages are on their front porch, or when valuables are visible in their cars. Barb and Harry can be seen at the farmers market frequently, showing youth their police cars, handing out stickers, and talking to the community. In other words, the Hubingers are everywhere, and we are better for that.
Let's take a walk down memory lane. the history of the 4th of July parade, and who doesn't love a parade? This parade is synonymous with tradition in our town. It is a story of community and partnership. In 1958, the town celebrated its centennial with a parade. That parade has grown over time, and with the help of partners in our community, the parade has become one of the largest parades in the Bay Area, drawing over 40,000 people. But did you know that that time-honored tradition is the undertaking of the Kiwanis Club of the San Ramon Valley? Formed in 1956, they took over the parade management from the Chamber of Commerce. And did you know that the parade route was in the other direction? When the livery opened in the late 1970s, the parade chair decided the reverse route of the parade and to partner with the Chamber for the July 4th Chili Cook-Off to offer a full day of activities in downtown Danville. That change of direction helped the parade to grow, with the attendance steadily increasing year after year. With the small number of members, Kiwanis turned the partnership to run the parade. Kiwanis also partnered with local businesses to sponsor the parade, which in turn allowed Kiwanis to give grants to local nonprofits across the Tri-Valley. Over its 60-plus year history, Kiwanis has donated over $1 million to these organizations. In 2020, they had to reinvent themselves again. With the shelter-in-place order, no large crowds, no marking your spot on the parade route, no cheering as the parade drove past. The in-person parade was canceled. But we soon found out no one can reign on the Kiwanis parade. They decided to forge ahead with the virtual parade, and they spent over 1,000 volunteer hours organizing the event. An event that has utilized by many on how to do a Zoom event. The parade was viewed by over 30,000 viewers from across the Bay Area, the U.S., and even the world. The town of Danville has always had a proud partnership with community and partnership with the Kiwanis. And in 2020, the partnership with Kiwanis helped to continue the tradition of the 4th of July parade in a year where many traditions had to be canceled. For being a part of our history and continuing your mission, we are honored to present you today with the Danville Award of Special Recognition.
As the mayor of Danville, I'm very honored to be able to present the Danville Award. It's an award that we don't give every year. It is for outstanding continued service in a particular role. And tonight we're very proud to give this award to Zay Perrin, who has been the CEO of the Danville Area Chamber of Commerce for the past 3 years. We are proud to recognize him for dedicating his amazing work history, taking time off from other jobs, so many that he has had, and used those skills to help our businesses downtown. For the first 2 years with the Chamber, we benefited from his work as a successful executive who not only defined short-term and long-term strategies and goals, but indeed personally put his face and his hands on each business to help them expand their websites, to do their marketing, to add business acumen, who added their participation in our events, made them participate, I think, and our outreach to our other partners and regional partners like MCE, which happens to be the Marin Energy, and that's the one where Zay is working now, so we're going to miss him a great deal. Zay's most recent skills developed from his professional experience. He started with the Market on Market in San Francisco, and that worked as a retailer and food hall, certainly in line with all the things we do in the festivals for downtown Danville. He also worked at Salient Networks, which is a corporation that operated technology in the following areas: senior living, education, that would be our schools, and hospitality community. All of those are absolutely critical to a chamber. He's got 5 other things on his resume I'm not going to read. I just wanted to tell you that those made a huge difference to our businesses when he went door to door, and that's what I meant, feet on the ground interest in how our businesses succeed. He, in fact, was looking at I Can Do That. You remember the award we got earlier? And he helped them almost on a daily basis learn how to fundraise and put together a business plan for I Can Do That. And I know you'll be a part of that coming down the road. Tonight, we recognize Zay's adaptability and this boots on the ground approach, because when COVID struck, everything fell apart. As you all know, throughout the town, the rules were different every day, and they still continue to be. Zay just stepped back and worked with Jill Bergman and our economic director and Liana and said, we're going to put things together that make it okay for these businesses to follow these rules and find out what they are. And he did so many different things. His weekly webinar updates, his Back to the Basic tool book, which is like 52 pages with all the posters that you needed, the financial assistant on applications for grants, his business directory with mapping where the restaurants, the businesses and retailers are, his Google optimization to make sure that your business shows up on top, and now he does Blue Dot Open so that each of our towns businesses can immediately come in and make a change in their hours or have a sale that weekend, and it's very, very fast for them to input it. He's taught them how to do it themselves. Thank you, Zay, for working closely with our economic directors and our staff. That relationship is invaluable. No one could have predicted the elements that our embittered businesses had to reach this year. Street closings, street openings, it's just one after another. Smoke from the wildfires, extremely hot weather for that 1 month, unpredictable staffing allowances under COVID, and of course then the threat of riots. Whoever thought Danville would be boarding up their windows? That was just stunning to me. And yet they went together, they worked together as the businesses, and Zay was a big part of that, making sure that the contractors got there and made it happen. Our police protected all of those people that had boarded up their windows. We didn't take no action, we took action to make sure that nobody was here that didn't belong here. So on behalf of the Danville community and all those creative ideas that were day and night, we offer our gratitude, and we are proud to present the Danville Award to Zay Perrin.
Thank you and welcome back. I would like to turn over the dais right now to Lisa Blackwell.
Thank you, Mayor Stepper. If there ever was a year to have an experienced, compassionate leader, this was the year. In 2020, we were fortunate to have Karen Stepper as our mayor. She's a true warrior, leading us through this unprecedented year as we try to achieve the proper balance between community health and economic health. She led our meetings with professionalism and frequently suggested we have special meetings to meet the changing needs of our small businesses. Her experienced leadership was appreciated by all of us on the town council, and I'm sure by the town staff as well. Let me tell you a little bit about Karen. She was elected to the town council in 2002 and has been the mayor of Danville for 4 different terms. Karen and her husband, Tony, have been residents of Danville since 1974 and raised their family here. She's passionate about our town, small businesses, our youth, and our veterans organizations, among other things. She's also a regional leader as well as a local leader. We would be here for days if I listed every committee that Karen has been on or has led. So I'll just mention a few that I think are the most impactful ones. Karen attends a meeting or 2 on a daily basis on the town's behalf. She was the 2018 chairperson of the Contra Costa Mayors Conference, a transportation CCTA commissioner, a past co-chair of the East Bay Economic Development Alliance Executive Committee, a past chairman of the Recycle Smart Solid Waste Authority, and a past chairman of Traffics, a traffic congestion relief JPA. Are you all exhausted yet by her efforts? I'm just getting started. Not only does she represent our town by chairing all of these regional government committees, but in her spare time, she has chaired the San Ramon Valley Exchange National Service Club Board for the past 7 years. Karen has been instrumental in putting on the annual 9/11 commemorative service every year at Oak Hill Park. She even organized a very successful virtual event this past fall. Karen also has an affinity for the history of our community and has been a 3-year past president of the San Ramon Valley Historical Society Board and a board member of the Museum of the San Ramon Valley for the last 6 years. Karen is well known as a docent with her lively monthly downtown tours. She knows the history of Danville inside and out. Karen has a special passion for the youth in our community as well. She truly cares about future generations in this town, and we all admire her focus that she brings to the council. Karen's grandchildren live nearby in Walnut Creek and also in Truckee, and I think they keep her in touch with the needs of the youth activities today. Karen has been a Mustang soccer coach for 25 years. Our oldest daughter, Amanda, who is now 32, still remembers playing Mustang soccer against Karen and Tony's team, the Orange Crush, back when she was in grade school and middle school. Karen has also been the past president of the Mustang Soccer League. She worked tirelessly to improve our soccer fields and construct the Mustang Soccer Complex in the eastern part of our community. She's a fierce advocate for our local parks and all of the youth activities associated with them. She was an enthusiastic proponent for the approval of the feasibility study for our new skate park in Danville. When that skate park finally gets built, I expect to see Karen and her grandchildren as some of the first people to take a spin at the park. Karen is passionate about our veterans. She never misses a chance to honor them or attend a meeting on behalf of our local veterans. I think one of the things she is most proud of is her legacy of the Veterans Memorial Building. She was the founder and director of that building and was very involved in all the decisions relating to the construction and uses of the Veterans Memorial Building. Whenever we talk about that building and its many functions, you can feel that sense of pride she has for that wonderful space and all of its memories. I think I'll remember this year most, though, for Karen's heroic leadership with regards to our small businesses during this pandemic. She has fought tirelessly for each and every business during chamber meetings and all of our emergency special meetings that we have had this year. As we've said, my husband and I frequently walk downtown and we live nearby, and we often see Karen there talking to businesses, introducing small fundraisers like events for the Eugene O'Neill Society or the Hearts Around Hearts event. Karen doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the walk. She frequently shops at our local businesses and dines or does takeout from our local restaurants. I used the word warrior at the beginning of our speech, but I'd really like to take that one step further. She's been a warrior with a huge heart. She has compassionately fought for our small businesses, the health of our community, for our veterans, and for our youth. It's been an honor to serve as vice mayor with Karen Stepper this year. We both had no idea a year ago when we were sworn in that we'd be serving together through a once-in-a-century pandemic. We are all better for having Karen as our mayor this year, and our community is a better place because of her. So now, if this was a live presentation, I would now hand over a special unscripted gavel to Karen and we would take a picture together. But let's just all pretend that that happened. And now look at her gavel, it's right over there. So Karen, thank you for everything. And the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Lisa. I mean, you are so eloquent. I told you how much we're going to miss those speeches that you give. Just well done. I so appreciate what you had to say beyond me, because you don't do these things by yourself. You do them with the council. And it's just been an outstanding council. And all the things that they have come through to support has been my priorities for years, have been the infrastructure. And you mentioned so many of them. I think maybe a couple more would be the probably the fourth bore of the Caldecott Tunnel, all the soccer fields that went in as turf fields, the dog park, because now in the pandemic, I'm at the dog park all the time because I've made a whole new group of friends who all wear masks, by the way, to the dog park. So I'm so looking forward when the Olympics come back with the skateboarding that we'll have some kind of funding again to try to start a capital improvement plan. But I'm so proud of the council for getting a plan in place with the capital improvement that we just did for the next 5 years. My personal next priority probably would be lighting the downtown, because we all heard so much about that and how much they want to have lights like that decorate all the trees. And there's got to be a way, because there's nothing more important in our character than the core of our downtown. I know my personal mission, which starts again, I guess tomorrow's meeting, is the Valley Link across the Altamont Pass, which is going to help take cars off the road in Danville. Doesn't seem so important today in the middle of a pandemic where everyone's working at home, but it will be again. It will be at the top of our list. I missed giving the state of the town in March. because we really were entering pandemic. That's when everything was declared statewide. So in August, thanks to Diane Friedman, we were able to put together a small state of the town and go out on the road to 6 different groups and businesses and give a small one on Zoom. That was quite an adjustment. And I have to say, Zoom has done a lot more than I ever would have anticipated in terms of its ability to help you network and tell people what's going on and how special Danville is, frankly. So I'll just make a couple of comments on the things that I think have stood out. I would say probably one of those would be the great success of the Arts and Parks and Recreation all being one committee now, because we are finally getting to the point where we think that arts are going to be a public part of Danville in a big way. And you saw it. I mean, you, the public, saw that in the last couple of years with the dogs last year, the hearts this year, the master plan that's been going in front of the library, which will definitely be starring art around the edges. And however it can happen in our playgrounds. We see this in the Parks Commission. So very proud of that commission and the recreational part, that you can have Zoom doing everything from your exercise to your seniors to your preschoolers, and everything seems to have been replaced with something that's virtual this year in a way that maybe a lot of us on the council couldn't have seen. Probably the 10-year-old, the 12-year-olds could have foreseen that as virtual, because they do those things all the time. So very proud of that one. During the downtown, we want to make sure everyone's walking around all the time so that they get involved in supporting our retailers and our restaurants. And so the Hearts did that. The stroll for scarecrows, the Christmas tree trail right now. And the Planning Commission helped us a great deal by approving these bridges, which are many more places than I ever knew since I've been walking all the time during the pandemic. And the one bridge across from the O'Neill Park to the library is going to be complemented by the one that's going in the next few months, which is going to go from Riverwalk, which is now called Danville Apartments on their large sign, going across from the other side across the creek to the Danville Community Center. And I believe that these are ways to get people to walk around town, to make it a walkable downtown. So I think I compliment the council for working so hard on those ways that have made a big difference to our community in the midst of what has been an extremely difficult year for them. As always, the mayor begins with looking towards Washington and towards Sacramento with all the new laws that come into place. Sometimes there aren't ones that we actually readily support. And so we have almost a white paper approach now the last couple of years, and a legislative committee that meets to talk about what we can do to make those bills more complementary to what we hear people want in our community. So I'm not going to go through these bills. That would be ridiculous. All I can tell you is that, you know, when the bills drop from 2,000 to 200, we can get to the point where we can make a difference in what we ask for. And this is going to be a very difficult time coming up because we're entering an 8-year cycle of housing. I think Lisa also touched on that because she served on the ABAG committee. And that one's going to be very hard because they want us to build more housing than we have either the land or the funds for. So we are involved in a leadership role because of the strength of our staff and all these regional committees. And so we will do what we can, but we aren't the legislature and we're not the state. So give us your feedback. This has been an unforgettable year of disruption for our small businesses. They get up every morning and they don't know if the street's going to be open, the street's going to be closed, it's going to be too cold or too wet to serve outside, or maybe it's going to be inside, or it's going to have smoke in the air. You can't even count the ways that they have had to close their doors this year. No sooner did we finally get to open up under the state rules then they started boarding up for 3 days because we had a threat of riots in Danville. That brings the second thing that's so special in Danville, and that's our police. They were there to take care of that issue. They had people that you never even saw that were in the background if anything had happened. They did not stand back. They stopped people from coming into town that could have made to have I should say immeasurable damage if in fact the riots, because my daughter lives in Walnut Creek, so I saw what that meant. So having a police force that looks at everyone in the community and says, we want you to know us personally, has been just such a strength. And they have done that in a quiet time, you would say, because we're on Zoom, by putting on this 10-8 show, which is what they, when they check out to the next call, it's 10-8, and that's from 5 to 6 on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, you can go back and see the old ones. You can find it on Facebook Live, and you don't have to be a Facebook user. So please do that, because I can't tell you how important it is to our police that you know one of those people and always feel comfortable. I wish we could have done more for our businesses. We did put up that $250,000 grant program. And the last time I looked, $223,000 of it had already been allocated. And that's how much in need our businesses are. So I know that we're going to see the people that are watching this show saying, oh, gee, afterwards I can go on and sign up to support our small businesses, because a lot of them, after the Danville Award you heard about, are now online. I think Candace Anderson said it well yesterday in her opinion article. When you go to hit click on Amazon, before you hit click, say, what Danville place, what business already has that in Danville, or where can we go eat in Danville and buy those gift cards? So I hope that you'll do that and make a difference in what's so much a part of our community. I think the other area is our finances. In spite of what you're hearing, we're really strong. We have strong reserves, and we've done that because we have financial direction, especially from Joe Calabrigo, that says, don't spend it till you have it. I think you've heard that from a few council members. And so we have not been spending. We haven't been putting out new projects this year. We've been putting the money that had to go into our maintenance and roads and a few projects like the Danville Master Plan for biking and bike safety. But other than that, we have not. And so we are still we're the safest for the police for the last 3 years. We are the number 18 years in running, excellence in financing. We have reserves that no other town has, and we take care with your money and protect you in ways that I think that it took the entire council. These are all things that I can tell you without a doubt have been unanimously developed so in this town. So let's look at like they do on the radio, what's the new vocabulary we have this year? I think it's let's see, your home is a place to work, your home is a place to school, your home is a place to cook and eat and stay. So sheltering in place is extremely hard, but we have virtual meetings at home, we have mask zones, we have positivity rates and parklets and senior shopping hours. But you're going to make the difference by going back after another crushing blow to close everything up. Right now, we've got to get a handle on the COVID, and we expect then everyone will be back down there, back downtown. And don't forget, everyone's open on the curb and for pickup right now. So we know you can make the difference. We know that already there's a positive side to sheltering in place. You've walked more, you've raised more shelter pets. You have put on virtual reality events because they were so important to the traditions of Danville. You bike more. You eat less, because I haven't been to a Zoom meeting yet that had food. And we have all these funny words. We could make word games of them, and the kind of games that we're retroing right now, going back and playing with our grandkids, because we know what it means to work puzzles again and do all the things as a community, and to know our neighbors so much better. So it's been a year that has remarkably been highlighted by great communication. We've had people show up at our Zoom meetings, like 124 people, instead of the 10 that used to show up and raise our flag and then go home. And so we're going to look for ways to keep that communication open, because our businesses have been a really strong part of that communication. And we are proud of them for doing that on top of all the other things we have faced this year. I'm just honored to serve with this council, that I still will be on the council for another 2 years. And it's just been an amazing year to be mayor. It's been a difficult year, because of what we have faced, but we have come through with ways to make it positive, and we are going to be there for those businesses when they reopen. So please know how much we have appreciated the people on these commissions that have made these decisions that I just talked about. We know and appreciate each and every one of you that appreciates Danville, that makes it their home or their business location. And we thank everybody out there who's listening. God bless us all as we shelter in place again and make Danville such a special place to live. Thank you all for being able to serve as your mayor this year. Well, I think that I come back into defining mayor as a Danville as a warm and welcoming community means we're going back into the business part of our meeting. And of course, that has a very special year as well. You probably knew this was an election year, and you notice how frantic it was so many places, but not here, thanks to Marie Sunseri's leadership. So I'm going to turn the meeting back to her to consider the canvassing and vote and the welcoming of our new council members.
Great, thank you. Now for the adoption of the election results, we have resolution number 79-2020, accepting the Contra Costa County Clerk's certificate of the result of the canvass of the returns for the November 3rd, 2020 Town of Danville municipal election. It is noted that no public comment was received on this item. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution? Lisa.
Okay, who would like to move the motion? Lisa Blackwell. And is there a second?
Second.
Second by Robert Storr. All right, then we will have Marie Sunseri take the roll call vote. Thank you, Marie.
Okay, this roll call vote is for adoption of resolution 79-2020. Councilmember Arnerich.
Yes.
Councilmember Morgan.
Yes.
Councilmember Storer.
Absolutely.
Vice Mayor Blackwell.
Yes.
And Mayor Stepper.
Yes.
The motion was approved unanimously.
Thank you, Marie, and congratulations to the newly re-elected council members and to our new council member. And thank you. I know Lisa's departing right now, but she has served us so well for these past 4 years. We'll miss you, Lisa. Now we're going to proceed to have our city clerk lead the swearing in of the newly elected council members.
Congratulations on a successful election. And before you assume office as a Danville Town Council member, I will administer the oath. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
Newell Arnerich,
Renee Morgan,
Thong,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
That I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, and I look forward to working with all of you during your term on the council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marie. Well done. And we will move next to Dave Fung, our new council member, and see if he has a few comments he would like to make to the council members with whom you are serving.
Thank you, Mayor Stepper. I'm humbled and honored to be elected to the Danville Town Council and join a very distinguished council group that I've admired and respected for their many years of public service that have resulted in our very special town being one of the most desired communities to live and raise a family. Special thanks to Joe Calabrigo and the entire town staff for your dedication and contributions to the continued success of our town. I've got a lot to learn from this A-team. And to Karen, for your strong leadership as mayor this past year. I mean, talking about no playbook, being able to find that balance between ways to support small business survival, ensuring our town's history of financial stability, and protecting the health and safety of our community. That was amazing what you were able to accomplish. And I look forward to learning and collaborating more with you. Congrats to Newell and Renee for being reelected to the Danville Council for your 7th term and 3rd term respectively, and a testament of the community's trust of both of you and your leadership. And then a special recognition and appreciation for our outgoing Vice Mayor, Lisa Blackwell, for your years of valued contribution and public service to the council and the community. And with Robert and Newell helping mentor me throughout this campaign, because as a newbie, there was a lot to learn, and I really do appreciate what you've been able to do to support my efforts. And finally, congrats to all of the awardees this evening for your commitment to the town and its continued success. We wouldn't be where we are without your support, and I look forward to working closely with all of you. Special thanks to my wife, Louise, and our family, campaign supporters, and to my Danville community for the privilege to serve on this very elite and special town council. As we address the many time-urgent challenges facing our town emerging from the ongoing pandemic and economic downturn, I look forward to accepting the responsibility that comes with the position and the opportunity to work with each and every one of you and together build a stronger Danville for tomorrow. Be safe, shop local. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Those were very nice comments to all of the council. We look forward to serving with you. We move next to the nominations for the mayor for next year. And is there a nomination?
Yes, Madam Mayor Stepper, it's my pleasure to nominate for the 2021 Mayor Renee Morgan.
All right, excellent. Nominations don't require a second, so I'm going to ask Marie Sinceri to take the roll call vote. I'm quite assured we would all be happy to second that motion. Newell, thank you. Marie?
I'll take a roll call vote for Renee Morgan to serve as mayor. Councilmember Arnerich?
Yes.
Councilmember Fong?
Yes.
Councilmember Morgan?
I am honored. Thank you. Yes.
Councilmember Storer?
Yes.
And Mayor Stepper?
Yes.
The motion was approved unanimously.
I think, Renee, you're going to need this gavel to complete the meeting.
Thank you so much, Karen. I appreciate that. I'd also like to at this time go ahead and take some nominations for Vice Mayor for the 2021 year. Do I have any nominations from the floor?
Madam Mayor, I am really honored and privileged to nominate this next person as our Vice Mayor. As a 6-time mayor of Danville, he's guided us through some very difficult times. And as you know, we are currently in a difficult and unprecedented, challenging time. And we need Newell's experienced voice more than ever. This man has been part of the success and commitment to Danville for over 30 years, never lost his desire and passion to make this community a very special place to live and raise our families. It's my distinct pleasure, and I'm honored to support a man that has a great vision for the town of Danville, a man with a great sense of purpose, a man that exhibits humility and carries himself with a great deal of dignity, a man who leads with honor and leads, most importantly, by example, a man with a moral compass and a consummate gentleman, a man who listens and understands the community's needs. And I am so happy to nominate Newell Arnerich as Danville's next Vice Mayor.
That was a wonderful, wonderful speech you made there, Robert. Is there any other nominations from the floor? I think that would be a hard one to follow. Seeing none, Marie, would you mind doing the roll call vote?
Okay, I'll take a roll call vote for Newell Arnerich to serve as Vice Mayor. Councilmember Arnerich?
Yes, thank you.
Councilmember Fong?
Yes.
Councilmember Stepper?
Yes.
Councilmember Storer?
Yes.
And Mayor Morgan?
Yes.
The motion was approved unanimously.
I'd like to take a moment at this time. As this evening comes to an end, I want to thank you in advance for your commitment and dedication to Danville, for your unwavering loyalty to this town.
To say 2020 has been a year like no other would be an understatement. We have sheltered in place, rationed our supplies, covered our smiles with a mask, canceled local events and traditions, postponed weddings, and laying our loved ones to rest. We've watched our businesses close, reopen, and get boarded up. We are told not to let our children spend too much time on electronic devices, yet our children have spent more time behind a computer screen than ever before. They sit home disconnected from friends, sports, laughter, and life. We look for new ways to communicate. We have Zoomed, we've learned new hobbies, and we've played board games, and we aspired for ways to help others in need. We all wonder when we go back to normal or what that new normal will look like. Everything is changing and shifting. But throughout it all, we've had to slow down, take a deep breath, and be in the moment to receive this amazing gift and blessing. And yes, I said an amazing gift and blessing. It's called more time. This gift did not show us how to put the pieces back together or make sense of this ever-changing health order, but how to create a new and more evolved normal. The pandemic has heightened our awareness of the importance of social interaction that we have taken for granted for far too long. We cherish in our heart the way which these times prioritize what really matters, the health and well-being of our loved ones, the resilience of Danville, and the sacrifices made by all of us. Moving forward, we need to spend our energy helping Danville, stimulate our economy, build people up. Your voice is so important. Use your voice to create a healthier, better future for everyone. Join an organization that shares your passion. Make connections inspiring you to do something to help others. For in turn, you'll be helping yourself. Now that we've learned the value of time, why not make that time contribution? Join a Danville Planning Commission or other commissions to help shape the fabric of our community. Give time to your community will make a difference, and your ideas you'll watch come to fruition. Being a part of the solution is always more productive than being a part of the problem. Tonight, we do more than celebrate Danville. We come together, resolved in our commitment to be better than ever, stronger than we've ever been. Danville, we have a strong foundation of which to build our future. We are stronger together. Make your resolution to be the change that you want to see. Dedicate ourselves to the very idea that social isolation has taught us. It's taught us to be more forgiving, more loving, and to take time to be present in the moment and to give back. Thank you to the volunteers, our award recipients, our town staff for your time and dedication to Danville. And thank you to all of you. Thank you for your gift of time, your voice, and for listening. Here's to a uniquely fabulous year ahead, filled with promise. We are all in this together. Thank you, and this meeting is adjourned.